All right, looks like we are live right now. Welcome everyone to another exciting Startup Tuesday. I'd like to quickly introduce myself. I am Aditya Putta. I am an investment associate at World Startup, which is a global entrepreneurial platform headquartered here in the Netherlands. Um, Startup Tuesday is a recurring event that happens so we can all get inspired by entrepreneurs from all around the world. And it happens almost every Tuesday. If you'd like to know more about it, please go to the website that's mentioned on the screen that you can see over here. And today we are joined by Dirk-Jan, the founder of Forestwise. And we're going to go into his personal story, but also find out a little bit about his journey in founding the company and where they are today. It's a very, it's a very contemporary topic that we're talking about, something that combines sustainability with self-care. And in the times that we are living right now, it couldn't be more important, I think. I'd like to first welcome Dirk-Jan. Dirk-Jan, could you please come on? A quick introduction from yourself before we go into the story of Forestwise would be great.
Sure. Thank you very much for having me, and thanks to everyone for joining the webinar. My name is Dirk-Jan Oudshoorn. I'm 37 years old, from the Netherlands, and I've studied in Delft, industrial design engineering. Finished about 12 years ago, and moved to Indonesia a few years later in 2013, where I've been living ever since. Only right now I'm in the Netherlands because I just got a baby 2 weeks ago. So exactly, there she is.
There's a baby Indy that we see right now. So baby Indy, I hear, is 2 weeks old right now. You're a first-time dad, Dirk-Jan?
Yes, first time dad, and she's 2 weeks old today.
Yeah, all right. How has it been the last 2 weeks for you?
Yeah, it's been life changing, obviously, and but it's also been overwhelmingly great and wonderful, and yeah, just so special that a new life has started, and yeah, we'll be on the planet from now on with us. So yeah, it's an amazing time.
Wonderful. We are also getting quite some congratulatory messages in the chat
Thank you.
box over here. Everybody that is joining us, please also take a second to also introduce yourself. It'd be nice to hear who you are and what made you join us today and where you're joining us from. And also, we're going to keep. So this session is going to be about 30 to 40 minutes. We're going to keep it very short and try to keep it interactive. I've asked Dirk-Jan to share a couple of photos, so it also becomes a bit of a visual story for everybody joining. However, I'm also very happy to take up your questions and ask them to Dirk-Jan as well. So please use the chat option. You will see that, I believe, to your right side corner. And if you don't see it, at the bottom of your screen in the Zoom app or in the browser, you will see an option where you can press chat. And over there, you can send questions either to the panelists or attendees or directly to me. It'd be nice if you use the panelists and the attendees option so others can also see what you're posting over there. Okay, all right. Now that we said hi to baby Indy's photo over here, I'd like to move on to the reason we are here today is mainly to learn a bit more about Forestwise and their upcoming campaign as well. Dirk-Jan, so what are we seeing on the picture here, but also could you tell us about Forestwise?
Yes, for sure. Yes, Forestwise was founded in 2018. It was founded from the idea that when working with the communities in the rainforest, and seeing that they actually have a lot of products inside the rainforest that have economic value, but there is no market for it yet, and they don't have access to the market, as we will see in one of the next pictures. So we noticed that there was actually a lot more value in the rainforest itself compared to cutting down the rainforest and, for example, planting palm oil. So we thought we should change that by creating markets for these products that we can harvest from the rainforest. And one of the products you see on the picture, it's the illipe nut. It's been used for centuries already and exported to Europe, the Netherlands, and worldwide actually. And these illipe nuts have a very high content of butter, which is called illipe butter, and it's very good for your skin. It's moisturizing product. It's comparable to shea butter or cocoa butter. But this grows in the forest, and the trees are already there. There's all over the island. These trees are located, and the nuts just fall down on the forest floor, and the communities can just go into the forest, pick them up, and sell these nuts to us. Then we process it into illipe butter, and this we use in cosmetic products. With Forestwise, we are selling B2B products mostly. So illipe butter was our first product. We are also selling other types of vegetable oils, and also sugars that also can be used in cosmetics, but now also going more into B2B food industry.
Mhm.
And with Fat Forest, this is our own consumer brand that we are launching this month to have our own, to show actually what is possible with these rainforest ingredients.
Right. Okay. So if I understand what you're trying to do correctly, you are actually working together with the local communities in this region in Indonesia to protect the forest from not deforesting the lands that the farmers own themselves. So instead of giving them to commercial organizations who are going to deforest the region, you're giving them an incentive to protect those forests and also create commercial value from it. Yeah, is that did I get it right?
Yeah, that's correct. With the communities, we're talking to them often every week. We go there to source the materials that we are using, of course. But yeah, if it was up to them, we've done interviews as well. Then they would want to keep the forest, and in this way they can keep the forest because there are maybe 20, 30 materials alone that for cosmetics alone that we can already harvest there, if not more, and that's only from the areas where we are working.
Mm-hmm.
We have until now contracted 700 farmers who are living in 25 villages in the West Kalimantan province, and that province is already 4 times the size of the Netherlands, so it's huge province. And the areas where we are sourcing from in the total area is 200,000 hectares, so that's about the size of Luxembourg.
That puts things into a little bit of a perspective for us. Um, the forests and the land in Asia is a lot bigger than what you see here in the Netherlands, of course. We have some questions from the audience, and that's also something I wanted to dig into a little bit deeper before we go into the rest of the topics. Can you tell us a little bit more about the existing problem? So we talked about deforestation. What are the main reasons for it? And Luciana is also asking, is it cattle?
Cattle? No, it's in West Kalimantan. It's mostly for palm oil production, sometimes mining as well, and a small scale is rubber plantations, but that's really small compared to the palm oil, and also pulp and paper plantations. But yeah, that's also more in the east side of Borneo.
Mm.
Gold mining is coming up very rapidly at the moment, especially last year when palm oil prices went down, rubber prices were down. Both of them connected to coronavirus, and also gold price going up, connected to the same crisis. So um, that caused a lot of people to start looking for gold in the forest, and for that they also cut down the trees and use mercury to collect the gold from the sand. So it's really pollutive exercise that they do there, and you see little children playing in the pools of mercury, which is a horrifying sight. But the reason is all the same. The forest doesn't provide them with enough income to pay for their schooling, for their healthcare, for example, for a motorbike to go to school, or to go to the city to buy stuff that they cannot get from the forest itself. So they often have no other choice. The only two options they have basically is palm oil or rubber, and then now also gold is getting more popular. So this is why we think it's a new approach, and also a promising approach, because even as long as we are buying their products, they are saying we will protect our forest. They don't mind to sign agreements that we have, for example, with 4 villages already where we are sourcing, that they will protect the forest as long as we are buying their products. So we think that is a new way of forest conservation, and at the same time we can replace products that otherwise would have been growing there, for example, with palm oil. Illipe butter itself is different from palm oil, so I'm not saying it's a one-on-one replacement, but it's one of the many products that are growing in the forest that could it could be that then it is avoidable to plant any of these vegetable oils at all.
Right. And you also said, these are nuts that are usually falling off on the forest floor, and they're being picked by these farmers. I'm just looking at this picture. So if I get it right, so this is your moisturizing cream, and is this the soap bar that we're looking at?
No, that's also a moisturizing body bar. So it's a skin bar. So it's actually like a body lotion, but then in a solid form. The illipe butter itself has a very high melting point, so it's like it's like rocks if you cut it out from the buckets. And we use that as an advantage, because then you don't need this plastic jars around it. It's a carton carton round packaging, and you can apply it to the skin. It melts when you apply it to your skin.
Right. All right. And I was wondering, so how many of illipe nuts do you need to make either of these products?
So, for example, the skin bar has about 45 grams of illipe butter in it, and from 3 kilos of nuts we get about 1 kilo of illipe butter. So you need a little bit more than 1 kilo of dried nuts. So let's say about 3 kilos of the nuts that you see in the picture.
Yeah. And you talked about picking the nuts from the forest floor. Is the supply enough? Does that meet your demand in the factory or the production right now?
Yes, it does. At the moment, we are collecting about 2 to 3% of all the illipe nuts that are available in our province, West Kalimantan. There are also illipe trees in the other provinces, although they are a bit less, and also in Sumatra, the other island across the sea, where they have illipe trees as well. We haven't harvested from those areas yet, so there's still place to grow, but it's also limited, and we are seeing that. And if the demand would grow more than 50 times, we're hoping that by that time, trees that are planted in agroforestry setups on empty areas that are there already right now could meet that demand, or just use other products. I don't think we have to keep creating more product to meet the demand, but rather to spread the demand over different kind of materials.
Right. Last question on this slide. So what quantities of illipe nuts are you able to process at the moment?
And our new factory that we opened in February 2020, we are able to process 300 tons of illipe butter in 1 year, and we still have space inside that factory to double production if needed. But what we're seeing now from the cosmetics side, the demand is limited, and if we are talking about hundreds or thousands of tons of illipe butter, then we will have to supply to the food sector as well. So we are working on getting food certificates, HACCP certifications as well. So for the next harvest, perhaps in 3 years, the next mass harvest, we'll also hopefully be able to meet that demand.
Right. Good to hear. This is a very interesting picture. It seems like a very convenient road. What is happening in this picture?
This is us on the way to one of the villages where we are collecting the illipe nuts. This village is called Gurung Mali, and this is at the end of the palm oil plantation. So you still see the palms on the left side, but they are quite small. It's a new plantation, and that's a local plantation from local farmers. And between the picture you see now and back to the city, it's like 30 kilometers only palm oil plantations, and they have quite good roads. But then when you get close to the villages, the roads are not serviced. And in the rainy season, you get these kind of conditions. And this is still okay. It's still passable. Sometimes you even have to, you have people that will lift your bike to move like 100 meters to pass areas that you really cannot pass otherwise. Or they make like temporary bridges. But in the rainy season, yeah, the road conditions can be really bad, which is actually also another, it's something that palm oil companies use to convince people to work with them, because they know they will get a good road. And yeah, that's what I also wanted to show in this picture. And in the back of the picture, you see Alexandra, which is the mother of Indy. So. But yeah, these conditions, this was when we were still doing the pilot project in Gurung Mali village, and our factory we have placed inside the city. So we are moving the nuts instead of the final product and ourselves.
Can you talk to us a little bit more about this issue that you just mentioned? The palm oil industry is also incentivizing the local communities, saying that hey, we can build roads for you, and you are a startup trying to incentivize people against that. How do you manage to do that? And you do have 700 farmers that have signed up to work with you, so you're doing all right there.
Yes, yeah. As I mentioned, they want to keep the forest. Actually, they rather keep the forest and keep their traditions. It's so if they get a good alternative, then it's no issue for them to handle these roads or to deal with these roads. But also, of course, at the same time, they're asking like, hey, you're also a company, and the palm oil companies are making roads, so can you not also make our roads? And at this moment, that is not possible. We do sometimes help to make temporary bridges so people can get through more easily, and also to transport the nuts, for example. But not a real road construction that is needed here. So what we are doing, so another thing they are getting promised, or is what is done by the other companies, is making electricity connections. So what we are doing is helping these villages to raise funds to build their own micro hydros. And the building the micro hydros we think is a very strong tool, not only to provide electricity to the community, so you can benefit everyone, not only the people who are working with the project, but also it's another incentive to keep the forest, because if they have the forest, then their watershed is still intact, and they will have a constant flow of water all year round. And they know that, and if they cut down the forest, then they also lose their electricity.
Yeah. I was also reading up a little bit on what is happening in these regions. Something that World Startup is also doing is working with WWF and the FMO on the Dutch Fund for Climate and Development, which gave me some time to also look into the issue of deforestation in Indonesia. And I've learned that close to 50% of the Borneo forest is already deforested. So that is actually quite incredible to think this, couple of thousands of hectares of land being deforested indeed. And there's some more questions, Dirk-Jan, from the audience. So I also want to tell the audience I'm using two screens as we do this interview, and for some reason I'm not able to see the Q&A option. So if you can just post your question in the chat option, I would appreciate that a lot. And Miro, my colleague who is behind the back end, maybe you can share the questions that are already posted in the Q&A options for me, please. Yes, okay. The next question that we have is, can you talk about the supply chain of these products? And what are the standards that you have to follow?
Yes, starting with illipe nuts, because that's our main product. We are organic certified for this product and Fair for Life certified. So that's our most advanced product also in terms of certification. Mm-hmm. With illipe nuts, we're getting supplied from 25 villages from 5 districts within the province, and using these kind of roads. So sometimes also asphalt roads, fortunately, but the distribution and the supply to the factory can be quite a challenge. Mm. And another challenge with illipe butter is that it's only available, or the nuts are only available in big volumes once every 3 or 4 years. And it has been like that. We have data from going back from 1909. But we have tackled that issue by storing the nuts itself. So we have set up a storage system next to the factory where we can keep the nuts in good condition. And we have been processing the illipe nuts that we harvested in the early 2019. We have taken 2 years to harvest all of that. And also by having this very big stock of illipe butter, we can still guarantee supply to our buyers for the one whole harvest period of 3 or 4 years. For the other products, you can see them on our website. So, for example, we have kukui nut oil in the Netherlands. You can also buy this in the supermarkets. Kemiri nuts, and this is used as a flavor enhancer for Asian dishes as well. This product is also growing in the same region in West Kalimantan, and this is available all year round, so it's a bit easier. And also this is we can use the same oil presses that we are using for this product. So this is a good, for us it's a very convenient one to fill in the gaps in production capacity that we have. Also, we are selling virgin coconut oil. That one is sourced from another factory, from a partner factory in North Sulawesi. And we have buah merah oil, which is very new to the cosmetic industry. And this is sourced from Papua. So these two products are from collaborations with other vegetable oil suppliers, which are following as much as possible the same standards. So all of those products we are hoping to get organic certified in the very short term as well, and also Fair for Life, Fair for Life certified.
Yeah. So in the first picture that we saw, we only showed the illipe nuts, but there are a couple of other products that we're talking about. Are these all going to be released under the Fat Forest brand?
Yes, most likely yes. For the coconut oil, the kukui nut oil, and illipe butter, they are already in the Fat Forest products. And the buah merah oil is likely, we'll likely use that as well.
Right. Okay. I see questions from the audience. Somebody was not able to see the questions. Karen, that's because some of the audience members are posting questions directly to the panel. So I'd like to request the audience, if you see the in the chat, you see two, and over there you can choose panelists and attendees. So use that option to post the question so the rest of us can see that as well. So this is actually the factory. Is that what it is, Dirk-Jan, that we're looking at right in the picture?
Yes, it is. When we started Forestwise in 2018, we have been producing on a temporary location first. And last year, almost 1 year ago, just before all Corona lockdowns happened, we were able to open our factory in Sintang. This is in the industrial area, officially announced industrial area, but we are the only factory there still very much under development. And you see one half of the factory, basically, which is the cosmetics area. We have just started to construct this site, just as we speak. Just the tiled floor is just finished. And in 2 or 3 months' time, we are hoping to produce our first cosmetic products as well for the Indonesian market at first. So this is different from the fat forest products, which are produced in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands. And on the other half of the factory, on the right side, there are our presses, where we are oil presses, and in the back of the factory is where we have our storage. So at this time, at this moment, we still didn't plaster the walls of the factory, but now 1 year later, it already looks much greener and also much more finished. But it's a work in progress still.
Right. So indeed, so this picture was taken on the 24th of February. So the factory maybe looks a little bit different right now.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, but I try to talk as little as possible about this. What is the effect of Corona on the business, but also building the production and the storage sites? Because I guess, like me, a lot of the audience members maybe are not well informed about the side effects of Corona on business in Indonesia.
Yeah, it has a very big effect on our business because our customers, for example, Lush Cosmetics, they had to close the stores for a long time. The stores are now closed again. So we definitely see a decrease in demand from those customers last year. And that's impacting our business. And also what we are seeing right now is that the container transport, the sea freight prices are really high, which is also an effect of the Corona crisis. And at the time when we were sourcing illipe nuts, we did a small sourcing in the beginning of 2020 because it was a small harvest. Compared to the one in 2019. So we normally our field staff is going up and down to the villages every week, but it was not. We didn't want to do that anymore because we didn't want our staff to potentially bring the virus from the city to these very remote areas. So fortunately, this last year was the first time that most of those villages had internet connection. So we could actually do video calls with our field staff, which was quite convenient. And even from the Netherlands, we could communicate to them directly if we wanted. So and as mentioned before, the gold mining has taken a very has been increased a lot. So that's a very negative another actually, but yeah, that's maybe the most environmentally concerning one that we have seen. Actually, inside West Kalimantan, the number of casualties or cases are not as high. It could be because just not everyone is tested as much, but also it's not very highly populated, and it's well ventilated. Houses are usually made of wood and not so much air conditioning, for example. So fortunately, until now, there's not so much casualties there.
Right. Because you in the beginning, you also mentioned that there are effects on the commercial side of things in terms of clients that you have. So how do you deal with that in these times?
We had to find extra funding. Yeah, we had to try to reduce cost as much as possible, obviously. Yeah, and to try to keep the wheel going in some way, and also we have put more effort in setting up our own cosmetic brand, because we thought we cannot really sell our products that we are making with Forestwise B2B products in a web shop, because no one wants to have a 20-kilo bucket of illipe butter.
Right.
But making these direct consumer products available is a direct yeah, result of this corona crisis as well.
Okay, all right. So the crowdfunding campaign, because you did mention, and there was also a question from Alvin. Uh, he was curious to know if you're also going to start doing B2C soon. So I guess this answers your question, Alvin. So I guess soon you will be able to also get access to this. Um, is the crowdfunding platform also one of the measures your team took to address the current challenges, or was that always the plan from the beginning?
Yeah, this was actually the plan from the beginning, and we haven't we haven't thought of make or we didn't do crowdfunding for Forestwise to keep the company busy. But last year we were able to get the extra loan, so to keep the company running, and
Hmm.
for the cosmetics product, we thought that is much more suitable for crowdfunding, because you can get the product directly.
Right. I just as a matter of factly, I said you will be able to access this soon. Am I correct? Will the people listening to us right now, will they be able to purchase your product soon?
Yes, but the crowdfunding is going live in a few weeks. So right now you can leave your email address on our website on the link that you shared.
Mhm.
And then you get an email when the crowdfunding is going live, which should be in 3 or 4 weeks time.
Right.
And then after the crowdfunding is successful, of course, we need to make a certain minimum amount of orders, so we can start up the production. And then after production is done, you will be able to get your product. So it's still we have to still ask for a bit of patience.
Right, right. So again, I've posted the link where you can sign up to get to know more about this campaign. So just drop your email on that link, and then you'll hear from Dirk-Jan and team.
Yes.
We talked very briefly about. You briefly mentioned about your on the ground crew over here. Uh, so who are these people that we're seeing on the picture?
These are our staff in Indonesia working in the factory on the picture you just saw. So and they're working in all different areas. We have a local management team there. We have people working in finance, sourcing materials, the field teams, community development teams, and some of them are security and working in production and storage, of course. So this is at the end. This picture was taken at the end of last year. Now our staff is down. Not everyone is on the picture, but our staff is now down to 17.
Mm.
And in the peak season, so at the start of 2019, it was 32 staff that we were employing at the moment. At that moment.
Right.
And now that we are building the cosmetics area, so as you saw on the previous picture, it was a soft opening because the factory cosmetics area was not finished yet, but the grand opening will hopefully be in a few months. And then hopefully we have place for more staff who can work on the cosmetics area to make the final consumer products.
Can you talk to us about the local support that you had to gather, in terms of your efforts, where you are right now? What kind of local support did you get?
Yeah, we were working for an NGO since 2014 in this same region
Hmm.
before we started Forestwise. So we already knew quite a lot of people in some of those communities, and all
Mhm.
the staff you see in the picture, many of them are from these remote villages as well. So we know them already for several years, and yeah, that has been really crucial. That yeah, that for first of all, they want to make contracts with you because they trust that you will indeed buy their products for the price that we promised, which was not always the case with other companies before us. And and also to get input on what kind of products we should start with and what other products we can find in the forest. And we have been we got in touch through these NGO projects with a local priest who is a Dutch missionary. He is 78 years old. Oh, he's 80 years old at the moment. And also there is a brother, a brother of 73 years old. So both of them have been working in these areas for 50 years and doing actually pretty much the same kind of work
Mm.
with community development. And because they have built so much trust with the communities, and we are introduced to these communities through them, this helps us a lot to talk to anyone basically, and also in the local government level, which is of course also very important.
Wow. Okay, all right. A Dutch priest involved in the story. I couldn't have guessed that. Um, but there is, of course, Dutch community that is very much present in Indonesia because of the history. I know a couple of Dutch entrepreneurs that do business in Indonesia themselves. Um, is there sort of a community for Dutch entrepreneurs in Indonesia that you're aware of?
Yeah, we are part of the Dutch Business Network,
Mhm.
but I think 90% of them is based in Java and Bali, and we are the only ones that are in West Borneo.
Mm.
So we only can attend those kind of meetings when we are in Jakarta, but it's very nice network and very active,
Mhm.
and we get yeah, a lot of it's very good for networking. So every time we can join, we definitely join.
Mhm.
And
Mm.
also hoping that they will do their next field trip to visit our factory when travel allows again.
Um, hey, because Indonesia is also a very good touristic destination. Um, you're going again back to your beginning. Was it a backpacking trip that turned into a business opportunity for you, or were you particularly looking for business opportunities on your first trip there?
My first trip there was just on holiday in 2007, but I, that's when I fell in love with the country. Went back in 2009, and then in 2013, when the opportunity arose to do a 4-month project for an NGO, yeah, we took that chance, my girlfriend and I, and that 4 months that turned into 5 years working for that NGO. So we
Mm.
never returned since then. And eventually, in the idea from the start was that we would do this 4-month internship to get to know people who can get started and try to set up a business myself. That was always the plan.
Mhm.
But yeah, it took a bit longer to finally start. But very happy that where we are now at the moment.
Right. Well, good to hear. And there's a question from Adriana. She wants to know, in terms of creating or improving livelihood for the locals, what are the results that you have in your framework, and what have you achieved so far?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
The question is, what results do you have in the framework of the project in terms of improving the livelihood of the locals, and how far are you right now?
Yes, for these 700 farmers, we have been able to increase their income annual income with 16%. That was measured by a third party consultant who did that research in the communities where we work. So that was quite encouraging, and that's even taking into account only illipe nuts and
Mhm.
those are only available once in 3 years. So it's already divided over 3 years time. So that shows that it gives quite a big bump of income in a very short time when the season is there.
Mhm.
And we see that people finally have money without having to take a loan. They can buy that motorbike they need to go to the city, or they can buy a solar panel or another big investment that they otherwise would have to take a very expensive loan for. So
Mhm.
that's a major impact. Also with the Fair Trade Fund, which is part of the Fair for Life certification,
Mhm.
5% of our sales is going into community projects. So we have asked them to what kind of projects they want to do for their within their communities, and they select those projects themselves from our revenue. Um, Another thing that what we have done is changing the system how the illipe nuts are produced. Before they were using smoke, fire to dry the nuts,
Mhm.
but for that they have to go into the forest, cut down trees, obviously, but also it's very heavy work and very unhealthy.
Yeah.
We use only sun drying, which is easier for everybody. They already have the materials that they use for drying their rice, for example, so they don't have to make any investment. They
Mhm.
can just take the nuts from the forest. They have to put them in the river for a few weeks, so they get soaked, and it becomes much easier to remove the skin, and then they put them out in the sun, and it's ready. So everyone is able to do this, whereas before with the smoke system, only the richer families could do this, because you have to build this whole quite big oven fireplace with a small fire underneath, and only the richer families could get the benefits then from selling these illipe nuts. And
Mhm.
now all of them can get the higher price for the dried nuts. And also another very important thing is that we have close agreements with the communities
Mhm.
to protect the forest. And so far we have 4 villages that signed up for that, which
Mhm.
is 77% of the supply as well. So those are the 4 most important villages. But in the future, we hope to add the other villages as well, and to add more products. So they can not only get income, this 16% increase from illipe nuts alone, but also they can sell kamiri or kukui nuts. They can sell coconuts and
Mhm.
sugar and any other products that are growing there.
Mhm.
We have made an estimation that in total they can increase their income from 1 hectare compared to palm oil 200%. So we're saying if they have to keep the forest intact, they can make twice as much money per hectare compared
Mhm.
to palm oil. And that way we were hoping that there's never any question anymore if they want to replace the forest with palm oil, because it would be stupid to do that.
All right. All right. I also wanted to ask you about the environmental impact KPIs, but you also put them up very nicely with the social impact. Um, Very clear what you're trying to achieve. If I can press fast forward 3 years from now, what is your vision for Forestwise?
I'm hoping that in 3 years from now we can source much more of all the illipe nuts that are available, so that we can help many more communities, and that we have many more products as well that are harvested from the forest, so that they have an income all year round. For example, also beeswax and honey and a lot of different types of fruits. I mean, the forest is really full of valuable products. So in 3 years from now, I hope that our portfolio is much bigger, and yeah, indeed we indeed have realized that people can make an income just from the forest, and that it's enough to cover all of their expenses.
All right, that would indeed be a very good achievement if you're able to get there. Dirk-Jan, I want to also reach the close of this Startup Tuesday. Any last words from your side for during this event to the audience from your side?
Yes, I'm hoping that everyone can go to our websites, fatforest.com/crowdfunding, to leave your email address behind, and even better if you can also tell this to your friends to leave their email address behind, so we can update you when we go live with the crowdfunding. We're using the platform Crowdabout now, and you will get an email when the page on Crowdabout now is live in 3 or 4 weeks time from now. And of course, hoping that you then place an order as well and try our products.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much, Dirk-Jan. Hey, I'm gonna applaud you for your time that you spent with us and sharing your story in these virtual
Very welcome.
events. I miss the audience cheering for the panelists. So I don't think we are able to hear the audience, but I hope you're also giving a cheer for Dirk-Jan as we do this. So please
Thank you
go
very
on
much.
to the crowdfunding page of Forestwise, the fatforest.com, and sign up. This way, you will get some beautiful natural products, but you also contribute a little bit to stopping the deforestation that's happening down there in Indonesia. Um, I also want to leave you on a note that you can join the next Startup Tuesday on the 2nd of March. That's 5 o'clock Central European time. We're going to hear Vika Potier from Headcanwell. They've been recognized as one of the most popular websites for anything relating to sustainability recently. So if you're into that, it might be good to join. So if you also sign up on this website, you will be kept up to date about the upcoming speakers, and you can take your pick and join us when you can. Dirk-Jan, thank you very much. And the audience, I hope you got to take away something from this. If you'd like to get in touch with World Startup or Dirk-Jan, please go on to our website, worldstartup.co, drop us a line, and we will make that happen. I hope you all stay healthy and happy. Dirk-Jan, good luck with the baby and the crowdfunding campaign that's coming up.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having us. And talk to you soon.
Yes, talk to you soon. Thank you.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Bye bye.